Hello and welcome to the class of Python programming. In today's video, we are going to address some of the questions and the tuples. As in our earlier videos, we have studied the topics of collection data types, in which for tuples, we always used to say that tuples are immutable, where lists are mutable. In tuples, you cannot have any changes. In list, you can make changes. So there is one question: what if my tuple is containing a list element? So what will happen in this scenario? So we are going to check out that in this video. Let's start with the recall of list and tuple. So for creating a list, let's say I'm creating my list L. For creating the list, we will be using a square bracket, and inside the bracket, let's write the list of numbers. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 elements of the list. Now this is my list. Now what I can do, I have so many operations that I can perform on the list. So, but I'm most often I'm looking here for the immutability concept of tuples. So first we'll be checking out the mutability concept in the list, that whether we are able to modify the elements of list or not. So let's say this is my first element. I just make it a Soumya. Okay. So now let's print of L. Let's say what is it suggesting as of now, because according to the principle, when I try to access the first element and try to assign a new value, it should be done normally, right? Whereas in case of tuples, what we are expecting that if I try to change certain element of the tuple, it should give me an error message that tuple is not an object that can be changed. The elements of the tuple cannot be. Okay, fine. Our output came over here, so we were able to modify the list. Now let's start with the one tuple T, which is equal to, and obviously tuple starts with the round braces, and let's say 2, 3, 4. Again, I'm taking a numeric data. Okay, this one is my tuple. Now if I try to access the element T1, if I want to print, let's say whether it is fetching me the correct one or not. It is giving me, this is the second element on index 1. Now if I try to do so, that the element at this position, I want it to be let's say Soumya. Okay, so what I'm expecting is error, and it says tuple object does not support item assignment. Okay, so in case of list, we have so many methods that are applicable. If I write L dot, we have these many built-in methods: append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse, sort. So all of these are applicable with the list. But whereas when I type tuple and I press a dot, I should come up only with the two built-in functions or methods, which are index and count. Index we have already used. Now the point is, if I want to check that, let's say I have a tuple T1, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have a tuple T2 which is equivalent to let's say 5, 6, 7, 8. I have taken the number in sequences. Now if I write T1 is equal to T1 plus T2, what I should expect here with the T1, print T1. Now remember that, okay, let's first execute it, and then I'll tell you what to remember over here. Now you can clearly see over here that what happens according to the scenario which I have presented in front of you, we have taken one tuple, we have taken another tuple, and T1 is modified with T1 plus T2, right? And the T1 and T2 are merged, they have been concatenated. Now you must be telling that we have seen that there are no methods of append or extend, and how this concatenation is happening. So my friends, remember that tuple is not an object that support any kind of assignment or any kind of change in elements, right? So what is happening here to prove this, that in this scenario also we are not concatenating, we are not extending, we are not appending items to the existing T1, though we have taken the name T1 again. It is actually reallocating or recreating one tuple. For that, let's have the IDs printed over here. Print the ID of T1, which is here, the first T1 which we have declared. Then let's have the ID of T2, and after this, when we have printed the T1 again, let's print the ID of this T1, right? Though I'm writing the same variable name, but what I'm expecting here, that I should get a different ID for T1 here and for T1 later on. So you can see over here the memory location, okay, which is clearly mentioning, please focus on the last digits after 6, 251640 and 560840. These are for T1 and T2, and when we have done this T1 is equal to T1 plus T2, the memory address location is different, meaning that we are not concatenating, we are not merging, we are not extending or appending any elements to the existing T1. Once we have two tuples, we try to merge them, and then we are recreating another T1 which is on different memory location, okay, which is different from the existing one. Now there is one more question, that can we have list element list as an element of tuple? Can we have? The answer is yes. Now suppose I have let's say T3 is equal to, and inside this I want to declare 3 comma 4 comma, and here I am having 1 comma 2. Let's make it some string. Okay, comma, let's say P, comma, let's say C. Okay. Now what I'm trying to do over here, this is my tuple 3 which I have created, and for the safety purpose let's print the ID as well to make it sure that where it is being stored, right? This is my tuple in which one of the element is a list type of element, which is iterable object. Now remember, if we are utilizing a list as an element of tuple, though we have no choice of updating or assigning or appending anything to the values of tuple, but because list have certain properties, and if list is one of the element of tuple, we can always modify this list, right? That means the object of tuple inside the tuple, we can modify the element, but we cannot replace the list. So let's try it again. So what I'm trying to do is T3, and the in T3 this is the second element. So what I'm trying to do, dot append, and let's say I want to say A, and then I again want to have print T3 and print the IT of T3. Okay, the output is here. So what we have done, as you can see in the output, previously we were having this as a tuple which was declared over here. Okay, the memory location was this, and then what we have done, to the second element of the tuple we try to append something, and it is appended. Remember the previous example where I tried to add something, I try to assign something, it was not happening, right? Assignment was not, and no other method in the tuple are found. So remember, here the method of append is not working over the tuple elements, it is working over the list which is iterable, and in the list these methods are applicable. So you can always increment or decrement the value of this list, but you cannot replace the third element of the tuple by something else. And now you remember that even we are modifying the content in the list, the address part for the tuple is still same. So I am again telling that if you have list inside a tuple as an element, you can modify the list itself, but you can not modify the content of tuple. But here what we have done, we have actually modified the content in the tuple. So friends, this was one of the logical questions that was needed an attention. That if suppose you get certain type of things and you apply your brain in that, no, tuple are immutable, we cannot change any element of the tuple. So it should not reflect, but it is happening. Thank you for watching.